Okay, guys, up to now, what we have done is up to point 4 with something in between here, which was in regards to the oxidation number. And now we will see and take a look at the disproportionation. What disproportionation is actually the fact and the evidence that some substances are both oxidized and reduced in the equation. And sometimes this is called as a auto-oxidation. I will give you one example of the disproportionation and then explain it to you. So as I said, some of the substances are both oxidized and reduced. And an example of this is hydrogen peroxide in the presence of an iodine is reacting and it is producing water. Sorry, and minus. And then the other reaction, the following reaction is hydrogen peroxide again, plus is H2O and oxygen. And so we have two reactions that are happening here. If we add those two together, then we will see that the iodine is cancelled out, so is OI cancelled out in both sides of the reaction. And now if we take a look at the net reaction here, let's do the net reaction. The net reaction will be 1 hydrogen and 2 hydrogen peroxide will be 2 hydrogen peroxide. That is decomposed into 2 water and oxygen. So let's take a look now to the oxidation number of all the elements here, all the substances here that we are in interest of, so which are hydrogen and oxygen. So when we talked about the oxidation number, we mentioned that oxygen, when it is in peroxide, has an oxidation number of -2, otherwise -1, sorry, otherwise has a -2. So -1 is the oxidation number of the oxygen here. So 2 times -1 will be -2, and hydrogen is +1. Then as we are moving to the product, oxygen will have an oxidation number of -1, and hydrogen to have a 0 will have an oxidation number of +1. And the same thing is happening to the other peroxide, so -1 and +1. And to the same water molecule will be -2 and +1, while the oxygen, being an element, is the oxidation number is equal to 0. So what do we notice here is that oxygen from an oxidation number of -1 is going to an oxidation number of -2, which means that it's going further to negative down, which is, in other words, is losing electrons, so it is oxidized. And what is happening to the other oxygen here in the peroxide is going from -1 to -2 and then to 0. So as you see it here, what is happening with the fact that the oxygen in water is going to become an oxygen gas, it is reduction. Okay, so as you see here on this example, what we have is the oxidation number of the oxygen is acting, is changing, and this is an example of disproportionation in which some substances are acting sometimes as the oxidation and then sometimes as a reduction or in the reduction reaction. When we are working, or you probably have seen a reaction of the or decomposition of hydrogen peroxide in an elephant toothpaste experiment, which you probably have done it in other classes in Science 10 probably, or on other fun science classes. So this is pretty much the disproportion. And what do you have to keep in mind is that there are some elements that have, on some cases, they are oxidized, and on some cases, they are reduced. And this is the disproportion. Okay. With this video, which is very short, we finish up day 2 of our classes, and I will see you in class and do more examples, especially on predicting redox reactions.